Yo, bro.
Yo, bro.
Yo, bro.
What's up?
It's a beautiful day to hit a PR on leg day.
That's
all I gotta
lovely.
Say.
What
All I gotta
lift?
say. Two squats, 285 for 3 sets of 5.
Damn.
Dude.
That's nice.
Dude.
That's thick.
And then 5 plates on each side of leg press. 3 sets of 10.
That's nice.
Absolutely absurd, this guy, that he's making me do this crap.
Pushing it to the limit, if you will.
Push it to the limit.
Good for you, man.
Dare he make you do what you're paying him for?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
One asshole.
How about you, dude?
I too had leg day today.
Mm.
New workout routine for the next 4 weeks. A little something different, just to switch it up because I can. And even though I am cutting and on pretty tight calories, I'm definitely getting back to tracking actual lifts, you know.
Awesome.
Didn't want to go back to the notebook, you know. Notebook was okay. I did the notebook for a long time, probably around 2 years, and really got me deep back into it. Gave me a lot of great strength, feels good. But there had to be a better way. I had my phone all the time when I lift anyway. It'd be nice if there was an app that would potentially, you know, just take care of a lot of things for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I found the one for me. So did a little fine tuning, little adjustments here and there. I'm liking it. Come rounding out the end of the first week right now, and feels good. It may stick. So that's nice.
It may stick.
Well, you never know. You gotta try it.
While Abe tells us what's going on, I think I'm going to brighten up my cam a little bit, if that's all right with you guys. So you might see my crotch for a second.
Well, maybe I don't know.
Just another fun reason to tune in live rather than listen after the fact. There you go.
Increase the views. No, today's cool for me because it's my wife's birthday.
Happy birthday!
Wow.
Happy birthday!
Fell on the day today, so you know, we're gonna be celebrating with a nice dinner tonight, and then doing some stuff this weekend. So you know, always exciting. Get to pamper her a little bit. She does a lot for me, so it's always nice to return the favor. So I'm very excited, and happy birthday to my wife, who I'm not gonna dox on the podcast and say her name out loud.
Poggers, love that.
Happy birthday, Shaniqua.
Good stuff.
What do you say we get into this thing, boys?
What do you got, bro?
Ready? All right, well, positive today. We're starting off on a positive track. And, you know, you guys always ask me to keep tabs on this company and this game in particular. So gamers are pretty excited this week because Epic Games and their main title, Fortnite, have dropped an announcement to an early access for a brand new game mode that takes on the competitive scene here. And it is a 5v5 Counter-Strike / Valorant style competitive mode called, I believe, Fortnite Ballistic. Yes, Fortnite Ballistic. So I got a trailer and some stuff that we can watch where I'll pop it up. We don't really necessarily need the sound per se, but you can kind of see what this game mode's going to all be about. So it is first person, and I put sound on. Of course, after
John
saying that we don't need sound. But it is first person, and like I said, it is 5v5 competitive, similar to the vein of like a Counter-Strike or a Valorant.
Oh, man. It's about time, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean? What do I mean?
It's about time. Like, these are the games that last. The 5v5s, the competitive stuff. So I'm surprised that they haven't made one yet.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that they have lasted just fine as a BR.
Yes, they have.
Arena shooters that are casual typically come and go very quickly. Kind of reminds me of like Rogue Company, and there's literally 20 of these games that have come and gone that have done this style. I, you know, as a fan, as a lifelong fan of Counter-Strike, and you know, one's life meaning something in a game and trying to win rounds and all that good stuff, when it is casualized, I think it's significantly less enjoyable, entertaining. That's essentially what I would consider to be like Call of Duty Search and Destroy, right? Same essential mode. I think this is going to feel a lot more like that rather than Counter-Strike. which is fine.
Why is it casualized? What makes it casualized?
When you
stuff.
Well, when you incorporate a bunch of abilities, we are not looking at oftentimes there's going to be a significant lack of balance, and Fortnite's all about fun, right? And that's not a bad thing, right? But I do think it has this like weird juxtaposition with this kind of game mode that when you try and put too much into it, it kind of like undermines any sort of like competitive nature that is usually driven home by these like 5v5s, right? Okay. I think they're gonna have a weird time trying to like balance abilities and innovation and stuff, because when you really think about it, like the thing that Fortnite does best over the years is always coming out with new stuff, right? And it doesn't have to be balanced. That's the beauty. Everybody has it. It doesn't have to be balanced. Abuse the things that are new, that are fun, that are, the new meta, like the double pump, and then, new meta, like that gets shelved, and then the next thing comes out, and, you're flying through this sky because you're a Dragon Ball Z character. Like, that's cool and fun. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with Kamehameha waving someone to death instead of playing a shooter, right? But then you look at something like Counter-Strike, and essentially, outside of the graphics and a few things here and there, the game hasn't changed. It's the same at its core because it's great and it's perfect, and it's this. The game of chess does not evolve for a reason. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
And to me, that's Counter-Strike, and that's the purest form of this style of game, a 5v5 tac shooter. I think this is going to fall way more again into that arena shooter style, and maybe I'm wrong because it is first person, and that's nice. But right now it feels to me like Epic realizes that they need to expand their market share, and they are doing the shotgun method. This is one of many things that they've put out literally in like the last month, or have discussed launching in the last month, and they're touching on every genre out there, right? The other massive one that they're discussing is an extraction shooter. And it's like, how many different game modes can we put out there? Because we have the platform and the money to be able to, right? We have the resources, and we have an engine at our disposal that we don't have to pay for because we make it. Smile. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm not convinced that they end up making good games with them. We'll see. We will see. But for me to even consider trying this, it'll be a ways. It'll be a while.
Do you think that there's going to be quote unquote abilities? Like, are they bringing that from Fortnite into
I'm
this
looking
game?
at a grenade that launches you into the sky and up onto a box there.
Well, and there's a force field grenade too.
But isn't that in Valorant and stuff, like things like that as well?
I would say the abilities in Valorant and them constantly expanding on the champion pool with different abilities is what has undermined its progression. I would say that for a long while at the beginning, it was really ramping and was taking over a lot of market share from CS. Okay. They decided they just don't want to compete at a certain point. And they're like, you know what? We're going to take the Riot model of, monetizing a game with characters that people can fall in love with. And there's a character for everyone. And we're going to sell you everything possible for that character. And they decided that they were going to drive that home, whether or not it had a positive or negative impact on the competitive scene. My understanding is that the majority of players in the professional Valorant scene are relatively miserable because of that, because that's their thought process. We've seen a lot of longtime pros, retire. Most notably recently was Tens, who was like kind of the poster boy. And, he's given a lot of really candid thoughts and insight to where these pros' minds are at. And it's really just like the nonstop addition of abilities makes it so that you're just constantly adapting to the new thing and not actually like innovating or coming up with like set abilities, plays, setups, and then playing the chess match that the game really should be, that's based on consistency and ability to quickly respond to what your opponent is trying and countering it, right? Which I think is like the cornerstone of a good competitive game oftentimes, even cross genre. Like I think that's even true for RTSs. So it's you know, I don't see Fortnite really like pushing that classical sense. This trailer certainly doesn't suggest that that's what they're gonna do. Again, it's not like I would never try it, but I don't have a whole lot of reason to. They would need to give me a reason to be like, oh, I want to play this instead of Counter-Strike. And I just don't see that happening.
I think from the trailer and some other things that I've seen, I think what you can expect is, there's definitely, Fortnite lives off a little bit of that goofiness, kind of like you alluded to earlier. But also, I think the pros to this would be you are getting a polished engine. You're getting polished devs that know how to make a game that runs correctly. And I imagine that it'll be quite smooth. They know how to handle large player sizes. So I think you're going to avoid the pitfalls of a lot of these competitive games where it's like the game's just not polished. It's not smooth. The engine sucks. There's bad hit reg, that kind of stuff. But I do agree, I'm certainly not the best Counter-Strike player. Everybody that's watching your stream can attest to that. But the simplicity of people all having the same stuff, not these unique abilities and these different things, and being more of a strategy shooter than it is like, let's get crazy abilities and I'm going to do 360 no scopes and all this. That's the fun stuff that you talked about that's in Fortnite that I don't think plays as well in the competitive scene. But who knows? I mean, at least the game should be polished, and it's in early access right now because they're testing it out. It clearly isn't something that they're going full bore into. So I kind of agree that it's interesting to me, but I don't know if it's going to be good.
Now, I'm happy to look at the positives on this front too. Like, there's always the potential that this actually drives a pipeline from younger Fortnite players to Counter-Strike at a certain point, right? Because they try this out, they realize, oh, I really like this. And then they take it a step further, right? And they're like, well, I should try Counter-Strike, or I should try Valorant, or, you know what I mean? And Valorant definitely, it coming out led to people playing CS too, because it took all the League people like, hey, my favorite company's making this type of game. And then it was like, oh, this is also the same kind of game. I think there's a lot less of this like barrier between checking out all of the tac shooters than there is MOBAs, right? Like if you play Dota, you sure as shit don't play League. And if you play League, you sure shit don't play Dota, right? It's one or the other. You're not going to invest all that time and effort into both games. That's crazy. Like I really don't know anyone who plays both. It's one side of the fence. I don't think that's true for Val. I think Val has a lot of people play CS. A lot of CS people play Val. We see crossover in the pro scene all the time. That's another thing that you don't see between Dota and League. So, I think it's good for the genre, which is nice. So to see Epic take a shot.
I think that is a very interesting point, that they're bringing a game style that most of the Fortnite audience probably maybe has never even tried.
I would assume not, right?
Yeah.
A huge group of people who actively play Fortnite have absolutely not played tactical shooters. So,
and like it's a difficult game type. Like you're playing. I know Fortnite that you're not playing against robots either way, but it's teamwork more. Is Fortnite is one person or is it a team?
It can be up to 4
modes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you're playing with your team, you're navigating, you're making plays, it's a different type of game that if they've never played these games, they're used to a certain type of game, it's going to be very interesting. And those types of games are super addicting because you want to get good at them. You want to get better. You have fun playing with other people. So that's exciting. That's a very good point. I didn't even think about that.
I think one of the cool things too that they're going to enjoy is that they get to play a game where you can still like your team can win against one other team. And one of the problems with a battle royale is you're only happy when you're winning. So you have to be the team out of 20, 30 teams to come in first. And if you don't, you lost. That's an L. You got to hold that. And, I think it just having so much more personal responsibility. It's like you and 4 other people versus 5 people. And you got to be able to make adjustments throughout this like alternate pacing, because again, a BR is just like nonstop. There's no timeout, there's no pause, right? So that's going to be another interesting adjustment. I think like comms and stuff like that definitely carry over, right? Team play definitely carries over. But being able to adjust your play style based on what you're seeing and then come up, plan, communicate it, and execute is it's another thing for sure. So I'm excited to see another audience get into tax shooters. So again, I'm stoked that Epic is doing it. I know they're not doing it for the tax shooter community, and that's okay. They're doing it while they explore new markets. And I think another really interesting takeaway is that they feel like they need to do this clearly. They need to branch out and explore audiences that are, historically maybe older, right? The extraction shooters and the tax shooters, they're looking for market share that are grown people with, disposable income rather than kids asking for V-Bucks from grandma for Christmas.
We also did last week. We talked about how is Fortnite falling off.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see they're branching into not just bringing more culture and content to their game mode, the original Fortnite. They're also branching out into other games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're feeling it as well. But it's interesting to see that they notice it and they want to keep changing. Like that is good for them as
for
developers. Sure. So good on.
Again, I feel like they often make the right choices as a company. They recognize these things and continually try to both provide value and grow. So
I think it's an interesting parallel too, real quick, with what you said with getting a new genre introduced to this gaming group. Because if you think about it, when we were growing up, and I'm a little older than you too, but when we were growing up, Counter-Strike was more of one of our intro games to PC gaming, competitive gaming.
Yep.
As Fortnite was to this generation that's playing video games now. So it kind of is that could be used as a bridge into this game type, just like I think Counter-Strike got me into other types of shooters and things like that when I was a kid. So I think that's a cool, interesting parallel. I think I agree a lot there that this could expand that competitive community to a new scene.
100%.
You think it works the other way? You think any CS goers are gonna try out this one?
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Not unless there's a subsect of old men who play CS with kids that play Fortnite.
Is that you're in that subset, right? Old men.
Is Liam picking up the sticks?
there's old men who don't play video games well for a living.
Yeah.
Right. Who are the same people that I won't queue with on a week-to-week basis in the community. And they have kids that play Fortnite.
Yeah.
Chucktown Tiger. And
oh, true.
And he will play this game mode with his kid, and it will be fun. And that's awesome.
That's true.
So there is that, right?
You're barely making it out of that subset, dude. Just being straight up.
I can hit face at 10 in literally a week of gameplay. So I don't want to hear it. I do not want to.
I'm more in that than him, and I don't have a kid. I think that's me. Maybe I'll play with my nieces and nephews.
Shout out B in the live chat. He's a 2. Good guy. Great guy, actually. All right. Well, but yeah, man. So I think like from that perspective, yes, there will be people who check it out, but I think that's one of the only cases.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly I might be. Last note on this is I might actually be interested in checking this out.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll have the longevity or whatever. It's not going to beat CS, but like I do like a little bit of casual.
A fun fuck around shooters.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold it against you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No worries.
All right, what else we got, Abe?
I got a couple quick hitters in a row here. This first one came across a couple of the sites I track, and I thought it was interesting. But essentially, right now, there is this looming threat to a lot of game developers out there when it comes to releases in 2025. And that is that Grand Theft Auto 6 is set to come out in autumn of 2025 currently. Now, they've pushed this back a couple times already. The big fans of this know, but obviously this game has a ton of hype. It is a monster in the industry, and autumn, specifically November, is a huge month for targeted releases in the video game industry with the holidays coming around and gifts and stuff like that. You are now seeing that there are developers that are quite literally not announcing or delaying their announcements of any potential releases in the second half of 2025 because they do not want to compete with Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yep, and they're making the right choice.
That's a fact.
Yeah, and Rockstar is essentially holding them hostage right now because they haven't made any notes whether or not it is coming out or if it's being delayed further. So these people are just sitting in limbo waiting for them to make a
100%.
decision.
That sweet
this is
autumnal
like
release.
Yeah, this is like when Kanye West and 50 Cent had a record drop on the same day, and 50 Cent was like, I don't care, I'll release it the same day. Nah, dude.
You got his back blown out.
Wrong choice, bro. Delay that thing, let the hype die down, and then maybe you'll have a decent release. But GTA is already going to be the game of the year. Like,
yep.
There's no doubt.
Yep.
No doubt in my mind.
No, Rockstar knows what they're doing, man. They're one of the few who still do, and it's a beautiful thing. And we appreciate it as gamers. Especially for a series that has delivered every single time.
Every time.
Incredible.
It's the same game.
And Red Dead.
It's the same game.
The Red Dead
new
series
new story, new graphics, too. Baby. We're in. Yeah.
That's it. You got the recipe.
The recipe is there.
They also don't play by the rules that people try to push on them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're the South Park of the video game industry, 100%. Yeah,
dude,
they're not afraid to do and say anything.
Yes, and that's what we want.
They have the roleplay community under their thumbs now too, because everyone uses them for
role. It's going to be huge.
Their audience is massive. It's going to dominate everything when it comes out.
Storytelling is king. Welcome to human beings, man.
Yeah. This is a game that captures all ages.
Yeah.
Because all the old heads, like my brother, he's buying this.
Shout out Mark, you old ass bitch.
GTA. You're gonna buy it, old head. And then all the young kids that are like, dude, this game is sick. You got boobs, you got strip clubs, you go into the police station, there's a dildo in there you can hit people with. Like, that is this. It's just
it's a thing of beauty.
It captures it. It captures what you want. It's perfect.
I mean, this has happened before, for clarity. 2 big games come out, and actually what I would consider, and I think most people would consider the much better game, got overshadowed and had a terrible launch/release, and that game is Titanfall 2, which really is one of the greatest mech games to ever come out. A phenomenal story and a fun online version as well. It got its back blown out by a incredibly overhyped, mediocre ass Battlefield, and that feels bad.
Oh my god!
Yeah, same day.
Yeah,
it was just, it was, it is what it is. It happens. But yeah, you got to be careful with your launch timing. That's definitely a cautionary tale.
And you get so big like GTA that really all you need to do is like, 2025 and the industry just sets on fire.
Yeah,
I mean,
just grinding to a halt.
I've watched that hype trailer like 3 times, 4 times now, just because I can, dude. It's so hype.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped for that game,
it's
dude.
It's also phenomenal that it's straight from the swamp, baby. I'm just saying, I'm trying to ride a gator.
Yep, a lot of gators in there.
Come on, now, gator.
Yeah, I can't even. I am so pumped for this game. I'm very excited. So I'm buying it the first day it's out. I'm getting in there. Whatever I got to do. I might even take a week off of work if I can make it happen.
What? Hey, black out the calendar.
Might have to, dude.
I like
Might
that.
have to. All right, so we'll stay tuned on GTA because I need to be in tune with that. What else we got?
All right. Well, it wouldn't be an episode lately if we don't take a shot at Ubisoft. And to quote Biggie Smalls, no money, mo problems on this one because Ubisoft's in some trouble right now. And we've been talking about their struggles for a long time now. Well, now they've had a different kind of struggle, and that has to do with their share price. So to give you some ideas on numbers and stock price here, I have this chart, and I'll set it to the max here. You can see by the steady decline in the share value,
It's like a mountain.
that
Oh
Ubi's got some issues, and
it has wiped out 8 years, 10 years of gains.
Yeah,
in the past 4 years.
Oh, yeah. They are down to under 275 a share, and because of that, the problem there is that they actually have pushed themselves into an area where their market capitalization, which is basically like a fancy way to say like what the company's valued at, has dipped below $2 billion at 1.65 billion euros currently. That puts them in a dangerous spot because that puts them in an area where they are a publicly traded company, and you might be able to just come in and take them over. So
I don't know if anyone's worried about that, dude.
But
well,
I don't know if they're worried about
there
that.
There are some major game developers out there that have the cash. They could easily make this happen. I'm looking at Sony and some other big ones that have piles of money that they could just come in and take over everything Ubi's got, and that includes some very valuable IPs. The issue for Ubi is that they don't really have a way out of this because of the releases they've had lately and the struggles they've had. Their only real issue is to raise capital themselves to fend this off, and the only way to do that,
private.
Well, the only way to do that is to sell off their IPs. So
it's not the only way, but that's probably the best way, the fastest way.
It's the only quick way for them to raise capital. They can't issue more stock. They'd further dilute their shares. So the best capital raise for them is to sell something and dismantle their operation. And the most valuable thing they have is their IPs, namely the Rainbow Six and Assassin's Creed franchises.
Oh my gosh.
So a lot of industry insiders are speculating that Ubi's plan to move forward right now in 2025 has to do with dismantling the company and selling off their IPs.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's possible. I think, like, from a gamer's perspective, I would much rather see someone just come and buy them than for them to individually sell off their IPs, which may or may not go anywhere. I hate, like, IP rights. Like, Ubi buying Star Wars is the reason that no one has a good Star Wars game right now. Because they were the only ones who could do it for a period of time. They like bought the rights to be able to do that for X amount of time. Eventually, those will expire, probably when the company goes under. But you know, to me, this stinks of a Microsoft acquisition. They have bought so much, and the reason why it's always so profitable for them to do so is because of the synergy. Slum
synergy
between their Games Pass, their Xbox Games Pass, and being able to make certain things available all the time off the rip for so many different IPs that people care about. And if they could grab something that, again, gives them exclusivity without giving them exclusivity, that feels really good.
Well, I would say, yeah, big behemoth can buy them, but what about an entrepreneur buying them, and then since he has no love for the game anyway, he just sells the IPs? So you could
definitely happen.
You could make a play, buy Ubisoft, flip all their IPs, and quadruple your investment, maybe more. Like that would be a very interesting thing, because if you put Star Wars IP up in an auction, you're probably going to get a very
they don't
good
get
price.
the auction Star Wars, but
why would they not?
They have it for like rented it. They have it for a period of time. It's not theirs.
You can rent. You could sell the last 4 years of your rental
Maybe.
period.
Depends on the thing, but yeah.
Okay, well,
something tells me that LucasArts. What value
do they have?
No, I mean it's literally Rainbow Six and Assassin's Creed.
Those are the two big ones. So I guess it's the Tom Clancy series.
Tom Clancy is what it is. Yeah. And Rainbow Six is an esport that is at least mildly given a shit about. And Assassin's Creed hasn't had a good game since Black Flag, which came out in 2013.
It's still a popular IP, though, that if
there's huge recognition for it, right?
Yeah, correct.
So, I mean, it's not great.
No, they're in a really bad spot. I mean, they've shed.
They had a chance to like really launch something incredible that had huge like name recognition that they could have started, which was Skull and Bones, and they misplayed that for literally like the last 8 years, and now it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, technically, they also have Far Cry, right? So
I think they are the Far Cry series too. That's another IP though too. That's these things. That's where the value is right now. It ain't the games that they've made under those IPs. They've all been shit.
Yeah, I mean, the more I think about it, the more I think you're right, Abe.
We'll see.
From a business perspective,
how does that work? Does someone have to buy more than 50% of the stock?
I mean, yeah, you could basically just go out and buy all the stock at 1.65 million or billion euros. That's a drop in the hat to a Sony, to a Microsoft, or even a certain billionaire who said he wanted to start a game studio named Elon Musk and come in and buy the whole company.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens, dude. I don't know. I think just let them die.
If it dies, it dies.
Yeah, I mean those IPs are gonna get auctioned off as they dismantle this company anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I at the same time, like I don't have any personal love. Like again, Splinter Cell is really like the only thing that I'd like to see a reboot for. Wasn't a huge Far Cry fan or Assassin's Creed. I don't know, just not. I just think there's games out there that do that kind of thing better. So. But I think there's a distinct lack for like truly stealth-based tac shooter, good storyline. We'll see.
There does come a point where the board and the shareholders are going to be like, dude, break the company and sell, and that's the only way we can get our money back. Like, so break it up, sell the IP. We want out.
I think it could be the beginning of a beautiful cleansing of the gaming industry.
We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
All right, what else we got, Abe?
One more quick one, just with the failures of gaming companies. Developer Rocksteady has announced that this season, which is season 4 of the game Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, will be the end of the game. They will stop support after that. They have stated that they will continue the online access for the time being, but they have released an offline game mode as well. They haven't pulled it down from being up for sale, nor have they stopped in-game transactions, which is a little yucky. But the game is dead. It's had problems since its release. It's another one.
When was it released?
Yeah,
I will get the
this
timing,
year,
but I believe it was this year.
How is it 4 seasons already?
They're quarterly seasons.
Oh, are they quarterly?
Yeah,
happens a lot.
It came out in January 30th of 2024. So. This is
what I'm curious of is like, where's the market research for like games? Like
from the consumer.
No, not from the consumer.
I was gonna say, because I don't think the consumer does market research into anything.
No. Well, they have to go to spoiled cabbages.
Yeah, that's true.
Where is the market research from these devs that are like, is this a game that's gonna do well?
Oh, the people who are in charge are morons who are completely not in touch with what the consumer wants.
Yeah.
But then who takes the blame? Because there's probably devs that are like, nah, dude, like.
Pass the buck.
Be good.
Don't put it on your resume. Move on to the next company, dude. Easy.
We've noticed the gap in your employment.
Oh God!
I was under NDA, dude. It's cool. Don't worry about that. I'd love to be able to tell you about it because trust me, it was nice.
Top secret.
It's top secret.
Oh, Rocksteady, dude. Already. Do they make other games? What else do they make?
We can pull it up.
I would love to know.
I never even heard of this development.
There's probably a reason.
Rocksteady, previously known as.
Oh, they do the Batman Arkham series. Oh, that's a shame.
That's a fall
So-
from grace.
those were good
Holy
games.
shit! Did they actually?
This is IP too. Then this is good
This
IP.
is they appear to do all the Batman Arkham series, and they have an urban chaos game I've never heard of, but everything else has been the Batman
Yeah.
Arkham stuff.
I mean,
Okay.
that's beloved. I haven't played
Well,
it.
yeah.
I've heard nothing but nice things.
Well, dude, like, I guess we should give them grace because you do when you release something, you do have to like give it some time, and then a year is kind of quick to be like, you know what, it didn't work, move on. Like,
Yeah,
so that's
especially if you're still selling it and the micros in game.
well, yeah, I can't.
This thing was a pretty big flop though when it came out. It was marred with other issues
right.
too. They had a
Well-
lot of social justice stuff going on with it that people didn't really agree with too when it first came out.
Who in their
So-
right mind wanted to put a game attached to a movie that was already a failure? Like, what are we
Trash.
doing?
So bad.
Like, the
So
only
bad.
when people hear Suicide Squad, they think, oh, that's dog shit.
Dog shit.
Mhm.
So why are you gonna make a video game that is based on dog shit?
Yeah,
we
wait, you
did-
said the
We got Margot
development.
Robbie as Harley Quinn though. That was nice.
Well, that didn't save it. So what are you
It
gonna do?
didn't, but that was nice.
That's where you said that people in charge are idiots, but like, bro, like you gotta know the movie sucked,
They're
right?
idiots, Slum. I can't understate how people in these decision-making jobs in the games industry, I can't overstate how brain dead they are. They genuinely are so removed from the wants and needs of people who play video games or just pop culture in general, man. It's crazy. Actual moron suits. That's it.
If you were to pick a movie, an IP right now to make a game, what would your choice be?
Oh fuck. Honestly, Gladiator would go hard as fuck. There's a huge gap in the market for like gladiator based video gaming, and people love that shit.
Wow.
There's been a few that are like really good. Domino was one, but it's like pixel based. And then you have We Who Are About to Die, which is made by Jordy. Shout out Jordy, one of the coolest devs on earth. He is a single man venture, and he made a banger. But like, it's what you, to an extent, it's like the upper echelon of what you could possibly expect from a one man game. But if you made like a really high end like gladiator game where not only is it like an insane story and you run you are the Dominus and you run like a group of gladiators and you have to do the politics of the city, but then you fight as the gladiator, you get to control that, and then you also have an online like 1v1 type or 2v2 3v3, and it's basically like an arena with some leaderboards. I mean, you're catering to multiple markets of different gamers that are looking for different things, and you just slap what's his name on the front of it, dude?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix, and call it a fucking day, dude. W.
That
My favorite movie, by the way.
How were you so ready for that?
That's off the top. That's just one. I got 100 in the chamber, Slum.
That's my favorite movie.
I'm pretty
by far.
blown away. I like that. I like that a lot. Abe, what IP would you pick?
I think you could do, especially if you're looking at more strategy, even RTS style, or some of these like almost not like Civilization, but a game where it's more strategy or like politically involved. I think a Game of Thrones IP could be really cool too, to do some kind of like, world conquer style RTS, maybe something of that nature. I always thought there was a lot of possibility for there. Really deep story,
turn based.
Yeah, something like that too. A turn based. Like
I think
RTS
you make a
or-
Civ 6 and just fucking brand it with Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing in my head.
Fuck Sid Meier. We got a heater.
Dude, we need a development company. How much do you need?
A lot.
Too much.
How much?
Too
Come on.
much.
How much? Let's not buy the IP. That's down the line.
Yeah, the IP would be the most expensive
For
part.
sure.
I mean, it depends on how good your devs are, what they're willing to work for. But I mean, you need at least
The
a couple
idea
million.
of Ashes of Creation just to get started and to like carry into like, hey, this is what we're doing, let's tell the world, was like a pledge of 30 mil. So
Mhm. You're probably looking at somewhere around 40 mil without including marketing.
that would be my guess.
What?
It depends on the scope of the project and the
just said,
genre and the. I know.
You just said Gordy, one-man operation. It was a one-man thing, understood, but it was a good game.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start from the bottom. How much are we talking? Don't throw 40 mil at me.
Well, I'm just to like the scope of what we're talking about. If we're discussing like having an IP and creating a AAA modern graphics, that's where my head is at when you're asking me that question. How much does it take to make a game and sell it? Nothing. It costs nothing. Your time.
No, it for sure. And we'd have to have people doing it. If we were to do Gladiator without the IP, we need what, 10 devs?
Depends on the scope, manager? Because the minute that you incorporate some sort of like online multiplayer, you need networking and you need all sorts of different, like, it gets big fast. Depends on how many different audiences you want to capture. Like how many groups of gamers are we trying to cater to here?
What if we make a trailer and we pre-sell and say it's released next year?
Well,
then we would be scamming. Then we would be scamming everyone who buys it, just like everyone else who does exactly that.
No. We'd be straight up.
Because they don't deliver. No one delivers.
Well, we would deliver.
Well, the problem is the whole market has been tainted by people doing exactly that and not delivering to the point where it would be impossible to go that route. Nobody trusts anybody anymore.
Well, they've screwed it up for the rest of us.
That's correct.
That's a smart business move, and you're tainting the freaking water.
Gamers have been pillaged. Absolutely pillaged. We are gaping. Gaping, Slum.
That's ridiculous.
Hey,
we can't have anything nice anymore.
Sing it into the abyss, my guy. I'm gaping.
Ruined it.
It is what it is.
All right. What else we got?
Well, I mean, we were talking about IPs that were good in games or good in movies and translating the other way. Mark just got done with a series that I loved that we wanted to give a little bit of a review of, and that's the Fallout TV show.
Oh,
I believe it's Amazon, right, that did Fallout.
Oh yeah, Prime baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bring the trailer up and mute it so we have it going in the background too. But I know you watched this too, I believe, Slum. It was like nominated for 16 different Emmy awards in 2024. I think it took home one for music or something like that. But good adaptation from the game to the TV screen, I thought, and really, really well done.
Yeah, I won't be able to comment on that because I've never watched. The only thing that I remember about Fallout game is when I watched my brother play, and I would remember the slow-mo when you scope in, slow-mo, and then you could pick a body part of where you could shoot. That's all I remember about Fallout.
System, baby.
Yeah, so I got to watch it without having that, without having, like, I know what the game is. Like, so in my head, I wasn't like, they did a bad job with this, blah, blah, blah. I just got to enjoy it for the cinematography and the story.
The beautiful thing is that they banked on very little source material. Like, they used it, but there isn't this like super coherent story that you can just like tell one for one. You know what I mean? In a TV series. Like The Last of Us came out, it's literally 1-to-1 shots through like the whole thing. And they killed it. It was awesome.
Yeah,
they did an amazing job, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got the right actors for it. And yeah, I think the casting fire, everyone played their role to like the sentiment of the character in the game really well. And it was already there though. At the end of the day, like playing The Last of Us, the value from playing that is literally watching the story unfold, which is the exact same as watching the TV show, which is cool. That's fine. And so many more people got to enjoy a cool story and will get to continue enjoying a cool story. But there isn't this like on rails thing. They wrote this story for TV that does not exist in the games. That is just based on a universe, right? And an IP that is interesting. And there are elements that they pull here and there, but this game could have not existed at all, and the TV show is fire.
Yeah,
like they just straight up wrote a great story. And
there was like that guy, the guy with his face, the mutant, that doesn't exist in the game.
There are mutants. That guy is not a guy.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. 100%.
The different factions they exist, right? Like you interact with them, right?
Yeah.
And there are little things that are fan service that they hint to. Like you come across a robot that's maybe a little familiar, or you come across, and then no spoilers, the end leads into like a way more fan service, and you are quoting like what they're gonna say because you know.
Okay.
And that's a really cool feeling because it wasn't really like that the whole time, and they just like really used that to emphasize like the finale, and that was sick. I thought that was incredibly well done. I think it's the right way to go about it. I just think the storytelling in general, it wasn't super cliche. They kind of strayed away from some things that it's like you watch a bunch of TV, you understand the way things are written, you expect something to happen, and they kind of like throw that back in your face a lot of the time. Like ironically, like, oh, you expected this. Well, you know what I mean? And I can really appreciate that because otherwise it just gets boring to watch, right? Definitely keeps you on your toes. Very well done. Good action, not over the top, not super long drawn out action scenes. The value of the show is the interactions between the characters and the dialogue and who they are as characters and how they develop. And that's, to me, that's what makes good TV. I need that. And if I don't have that, I'm bored out of my mind. So I thought they killed it. I highly recommend it.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, when they ventured into the other vault and saw it was like they were all dead, I was like, oh shit. Like I was very into this show. Like I'm super excited for the next season. And I'm in love with the mutant character. Love
he's
that
awesome.
character.
He's a good actor.
He's got a bone to pick, dude.
And there's great alternate timeline stuff happening, which is not convoluted by any means. Like some shows make it convoluted. This one doesn't. It's like super obvious when you're in one timeline or the other. There's only two. They go back and forth. And it's just a way to really enhance the storytelling. And I also love like when they do the shots, is that when they switch scenes, it feels very Game of Thrones, like you're jumping into this character's storyline now.
Yeah.
And it's they're like these prefab, almost like play acts that are occurring. And then you get the scenery switch, and then it's like the next play act with this character, and it picks up where they left off. I like that a lot.
Too. There's breaks within a mini arc.
Correct.
They break you while you're like, oh shit, this guy's about to go explore the vault. Like, what's it? Oh, and then they break.
Yep.
And they put you into another one.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's really good with storytelling as well. It's like, don't give it all to me, like right away.
Rising action, and then they edge you real nice.
Oh my god, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Something I think they did really cool too, as a fan of the game, is they made power armor seem awesome. They made it seem so cool.
Is that the big mech, basically?
Yeah, the big like mech suit that they wear. They made it seem so cool.
In the games, I almost feel like the power armor was like kind of a meme.
Yeah.
And it never really quite felt like badass. The show makes it badass for sure.
It make it so cool. They made everything involving the power armor just seem awesome and exactly what it should be. So I loved the show. I thought they did great. I agree with everything you both said. It's it was very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
No, you.
I can't stress enough. Like it's such an enjoyable show. No video game needed, and like you said, it doesn't even it goes well above and beyond the video game.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the show. Can't wait to see more of the mutant guy, because his story is a tale as old as time. It never gets old. It's the guy who you see in the show. He's a stand-up guy. He was wronged, and now he's on a mission.
Yeah.
And you look at this guy, and he's hideous. And so and not only is he hideous, he also has to take all this stuff to even stay alive. And he's harming himself to stay alive to accomplish his goal still. It's like dude, I love that type of story. So I'm a big fan of him in general.
It's definitely dope. Good character.
Can't wait to see more.
Fantastic actor too. He was really good in what was that show about the U.S. Marshal? Justified. He was one of the characters in Justified. Yeah, good
he's
show.
Always good. Big fan of that guy.
You're a good actor.
All right. Any last words about Fallout?
Watch it.
Just watch it.
All right, go watch it.
On the back of that too, Amazon just announced officially this week that them and Henry Cavill, actually Superman, have agreed to terms with the folks over at Warhammer, and they are bringing a Warhammer 40K series to Amazon.
Dude, that guy found his freaking. He's got his audience. He's a video game OG.
Yep.
Keep doing it, dude.
And
Keep doing it.
Shit. He is handsome as shit too.
All right.
Which is crazy for his nerdiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Relatable.
He killed The Witcher, dude. Oh my god.
Well, and then they killed The Witcher, and he told them to blow it out their ass, which was awesome. Which every nerd was hype about. Like, you're not gonna stick to the source material, and you're gonna undermine it at every turn. Go fuck yourself. We're done here, and that's awesome. We respect and appreciate that so much because, again, you see it going off the tracks in real time. Like, season 2 of The Witcher, bro, not good.
No, I love all of it until he was gone. I loved all of it, dude.
The last season,
he still gave a great performance.
Yeah, he's in it, and his scenes were okay.
Yeah,
but half the scenes felt like I was watching the CW. Dead ass. It was brutal.
It did.
It was like between like the lighting and the set, I was like, what am I looking at here?
No,
it turned into actual amateur hour. It was so bad.
No, you commented on a blood scene, which you were not accurate on.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Terrible. We talked about a scene from the final I think it was in the final season, and there was blood animation. And you said it was bad. And I was like, no, dude, it was solid. And if we could potentially find it somehow, I'd love to just look at that scene.
The final fight scene? Is that the one?
I don't think it was a final fight scene. But
I think you had this conversation with somebody else.
No, I did not, dude. You just basically said the same thing about a different scene.
I'm talking about white lighting on mismatch in lighting versus the
it's all
scene.
production mishaps and falling short where you should not fall short because it's just not being run correctly.
Yeah, I just feel like I'd remember this conversation.
Okay, all right. What about it's not even a big deal. What about that scene or that interview where he's on the stage with some guy and they're talking about one of these games and they just start nerding out? He's like, you're running that right now? Maybe we should team up. And it's so good because it's authentic. Like, this guy's literally a nerd.
Yeah, and 40K is like one of those universes that are have massive fandom, but is still pretty niche. Like, either you know what it is and you love it, or you never heard of it. And the really exciting part is not only is he starring, but he's also an executive producer.
Oh, beautiful.
And so he's gonna have infinitely more say, and they understand. And it seems like I'm sure he has fought for his right to be true to the source material and help guide and shape the show in the way that is going to be appreciated by the people who want to consume it, which should be the objective at all times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why people think that they are going to do their own thing and stray from what made it popular in the first place? Like, why did the people above you pay for this IP just for you to shit on it? Like, that's not doing your job right. You know what I mean? Like,
in my opinion, same thing with Avatar. Like, dude, I know you enjoyed it. You said you enjoyed it.
I didn't even watch the show, man. I watched one episode, thought it was shit, and turned it off. That's why when we sit here and you tell me about some blood scene that we talked about, I'm like, what the fuck?
You were like, dude, it's perfect.
No, I said it was omega boring because it was 1-to-1 scenes.
That's what you said, but it was.
But I only watched one episode, and because I turned it off.
So it was one-to-one
fucking
scenes,
memory. Go ahead.
but it was so condensed. They went through 4 seasons of Avatar in one season, and they left out such good stuff. It's like, dude, you screwed up on that one, big time. What a tremendous opportunity. The Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yeah, I mean, people are ride or die for that shit.
Well,
you
and
ruined
look at Star Wars and the Acolyte and that was a debacle.
All dog shit.
They ruined. They really did. They make the stuff without the intention of being
can say
good.
it. Yeah. I'm happy to say it. Disney's the fucking worst.
Good
dude.
show. But I mean, this guy Henry Cavill paints miniatures. He is a uber fan of this universe and this lore, and I think he's gonna do it right. I'm really excited for it. It's a crazy dark universe. There's so much potential for a really compelling show. It's gonna be awesome, I think.
I have faith.
Me too.
I have faith. Yeah, we'll see. This is still like really far away, I think, but
yeah, they just agreed to the rights. That was the announcement this week that they officially have the rights. So
that's cool. I'm also. Will you watch the next season of The Witcher if you enjoyed it all the way through the end?
I'll attempt it.
Okay.
Even though he was the reason, and then a close second was the Bard or Baird or whatever in that show.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, great voice, love music. So
you don't like Jennifer?
Skier, I believe, right?
Yennefer?
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer. I forget. No. She's what? No, I forget. I can't even remember that character. So
really?
Nah.
Oh, I thought she was one of the better ones.
That was like when she was like not raised, but she was like in the women sanctuary.
Yeah,
right?
she had the club foot.
What?
She's quite literally like the other. She did have a club foot. She's like the other main protagonist, I would say.
Okay, understood. Yeah, but she tried to screw him over.
We're doing a lot of things, but it's all due to her messed up past.
That's not listen, that's not an excuse, guys. All right? Deal with it. Move forward.
That's kind of their relationship.
Don't bring the baggage.
The games of the books, like those two, they're always screwing each other over, and then screwing each other, quite literally, but then screwing each other over.
Yeah.
Didn't he get her pregnant? No, she can't have kids.
She can't have kids. She gave that
ripped out her ovaries
for beauty.
Yeah.
Because she was ugly.
She was, I remember now. I remember now. She was a hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, she definitely. Yeah, she came around.
Yeah, she was Quasimodo and like a motherfucker, bro.
Yeah, she was.
Oh my god. Glad we got you there.
Anyway, we're gonna have to leave the last two things for the next podcast. Storm, you've been playing a lot of PoE.
Oh, shout out GGG, Chris Wilson. I'll kiss you right on the mouth. I know you're not like the guy anymore, but this is all because of you, and I appreciate you. I'm having a blast. PoE rules. I'm still playing hardcore, and I'm still alive. Level 27 in Act 2. Tell your mom, your sister, your auntie, because we're living. The cat, the dog, the fish, and the fishbowl, baby.
What else is coming down the pipeline? You excited for anything?
Yeah, man. More hardcore WoW, more hardcore PoE. There's always CS on my horizon. There's always Counter-Strike. We'll always have Counter-Strike, Slum, and that's a beautiful thing. Honestly, just finishing strong, leading up to the holidays. I will be gone for a week from the 21st to I'll probably be back streaming on the 30th. So I would assume no podcast episode on the 25th, which is actually Christmas Day. So I think we probably all assume that.
We're good, yeah.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
That's what I got.
Where are they finding you?
Twitch.tv/Markstrom.
Abe, how about you, dude?
Well, as always, I'll be moderating over at the channel, chiming in the chat when I can. PoE's been great. I've been playing it too. I'm not playing hardcore because I'm soft, unlike Markstrom, and I have died.
Stay hard, baby.
It doesn't count. So, and yeah, I mean, once again, shout out to my wife. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And during that little break, when we're doing Christmas and Mark's not around, go check out some of the VODs over at the channel. We had a 24-hour FBF last week that was wild. It was awesome. People hung out throughout the night doing media share and stuff the whole time. Great VOD on that one. So while he's away, you don't have to be away. You can still follow the channel content. You can go look at the VOD and check out some of the old streams as well. That's over at twitch.tv/Markstrom.
Who is this Garnett guy? Who is this guy in chat talking about smashing his balls with a ball peen hammer?
You're into what you're into. That's a respected member of my community, I'll have you know.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Well, that's what it's all about, man. He plays hardcore WoW, and he's not that good, but he's getting there, and he is taking the journey. He's on the hero's journey as we speak. He's soon to be a liver. All right, and you only get there through facing the adversity head on with a ball peen hammer.
Oh gosh.
I'll have you know. All right.
Anyway, I am Slum or Dom, whatever you want to call me, and what I want to ask. Would you kindly subscribe on YouTube? We saw a few new people in here, so subscribe on YouTube for me. Press that notification bell. After that, would you kindly share this YouTube channel with your mom, your brother, your sister, your auntie, the fish in the fish bowl, and the dog on your couch? And if they press the bell as well, they'll be notified, and they'll be scrolling, and they'll click in, and they'll hear us talking about Fallout, the TV show, and they'll be like, wow, I never watched that show. But the way Markstrom just explained it, I really want to watch that show because it sounds amazing, and it was amazing. So we have a really good time doing this podcast, and we want to bring that good time to as many people as we can. So it truly does help when you share this in your Discord, and you get people to subscribe and click the bell. So thank you for that. We do this show every Wednesday unless Markstrom has a baby or Abe goes on vacation. And in this case, coming up, Markstrom goes on vacation as well, which I'm happy for you. That's going to be a good
It is also Christmas.
So this has been another awesome vacation awesome episode of the Plug Podcast. And we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Deuces.